Why that could be good for AMD specifically. Now let's connect the dots to AMD with 3 concrete pathways. These are realistic scenarios, not promises. Faster cloud rollouts. Oracle and other cloud providers planning large AMD GPU fleets may find it cheaper or politically simpler to deploy hardware if tariffs or trade friction ease. Less friction equals faster capacity builds equals more AMD chips spinning in racks sooner. Oracle's MI450 commitment is an example of where scale matters. Lower system costs for OEMs. Many server integrators source parts globally. Reduced tariffs lower total system cost, increasing the attractiveness of replacing older fleets with newer AMD-powered racks. That's especially true for inference deployments, where cost per query matters a lot. Improved supply certainty. Political deals can include clearer rules on exports, licensing, or critical minerals that make long-range procurement safer. Customers who hesitate to switch architectures because of export control risk might be more willing to diversify toward AMD if that risk decreases. Note, export controls and tariffs are different levers, but both affect procurement risk. In short, tariff relief could act like a discounted coupon for large cloud buyers, and AMD is holding a lot of the items that buyers would want to buy with that coupon. Picture this. A giant cloud operator is a sandwich shop that makes 1 million sandwiches a day. They buy ovens, servers, from factories worldwide, sometimes assembled in country A, shipped to country B, and then opened in country C. Tariffs are like sudden new taxes on imported pickles. They spike sandwich costs and scare the shop owner. If the government says, "We'll lower pickle taxes if the pickle supplier in country B starts using X standard," the shop owner can plan to buy more ovens that use that supplier's pickles. For AMD, the better pickles are faster, denser memory and good integration with CPUs and networking, and the shop owner is Oracle or OpenAI saying, "Yes, please, give us 50,000 of those chips." With favorable Trump-China deal, AMD could soar to $3,000 in coming decades. Tariffs and export controls are different. Even if tariffs loosen, export controls on sophisticated AI chips or software may remain tight, which can still limit access or complicate sales to certain customers or geographies. AMD's supply chain realities. AMD relies on foundries, TSMC, etc., and a global ecosystem. Manufacturing constraints, lead times, and logistics still matter more than a single tariff line in many cases. Note this as well. "And he saith unto me, Seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he which is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city." Revelation 22 verses 10-14. If we fully obey the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, and carefully follow all his commandments, he has promised to set us high above all the nations of the earth. Deuteronomy 28. We shall be blessed when we come in and when we go out. I appeal to you to accept God and let him be your guide, for he will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. Want more information? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: "I stayed until the end." Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage me to continue bringing to you insightful content. Do not miss out on our future videos full of insight. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's blessings and care. Faith and prayer will do what no power on earth can accomplish. See you in the next video by God's mercy. Today we're telling the tech version of Rocky, how AMD went from long-term challenger in CPUs/GPUs to a credible leader in AI accelerators. The blazing hot chips that train and run the giant language models and generative AI you hear about every 5 minutes. What is an AI accelerator, in plain English? Imagine training an AI model as trying to teach a choir to sing Beethoven while simultaneously juggling and doing your taxes. A normal CPU is like a very disciplined choir director, flexible and great at many tasks. An AI accelerator, aka GPU or accelerator chip, is the choir's metronome on steroids, built to repeat the same computations millions of times super fast and sip electricity like it's coffee, not gasoline. AMD's Instinct line, MI300 and the follow-ons, are these very specialized instruments, designed for both training huge models and running them in production. They pack lots of on-chip memory, very wide internal data lanes, and software hooks so data center builders can string racks of them together. This lets companies train big models faster and cheaper per task. AMD's Instinct family and MI300 series are the company's flagship for these workloads. The technical leap, why AMD started getting respect. AMD's rise wasn't a single dramatic moment, it's a series of engineering and commercial moves, memory and architecture. Modern large models burn through memory. AMD focused on high memory density and bandwidth in its Instinct accelerators, which helps when you want to fit more of your model on fewer chips. That's a key competitive advantage. Roadmap cadence. AMD committed to an annual cadence of new Instinct generations so customers could plan upgrades and software integration. That predictability matters to cloud builders. Ecosystem deals. Chips are only as useful as the systems they're in. AMD bundled CPUs, EPYC, accelerators, Instinct, networking, and software support, making turnkey packages for big cloud vendors and hyperscalers. That's how you go from interesting startup part to rack in the cloud. The trophy case, big customer wins. What changed the narrative most rapidly were the commercial wins. In 2025, AMD started landing marquee deals. For example, Oracle announced a major deployment using AMD Instinct MI450 class GPUs, planning tens of thousands of units for its cloud, a signal that big cloud providers see AMD as production-ready at hyperscale. And yes, there were reports of multi-year supply arrangements with AI platform leaders that could be worth tens of billions over time, putting AMD in the same conversation as longtime incumbents. Those deals aren't just press releases. They're the practical proof that companies will invest engineering time to support AMD in production environments. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to me. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. Okay, politics. What did Trump say about tariffs? Now for the plot twist, trade policy. In October 2025, President Trump announced stepped-up tariff measures and publicly discussed that the threatened tariff levels were not sustainable, and that any reduction would be conditional on Beijing doing specific things for the United States, effectively saying, "We might lower tariffs, but only if China agrees to favorable concessions." Those statements were reported by major outlets. Separately, there was a temporary truce and extensions around tariffs earlier in 2025 that kept some duties from spiking, showing just how politically fragile this terrain is. How tariffs interact with the chip business, the simple economics. Here's the basic chain of cause and effect. In plain terms, tariffs increase the cost of cross-border hardware flows. If servers or parts are imported, or final products shipped between the US and China, tariffs push up landed costs. Cloud builders and enterprises respond by diversifying suppliers, shifting production, or reconfiguring supply chains. That can favor companies that have flexible manufacturing or those that already have strong relationships with cloud providers. Conditional tariff relief, a political deal, could reduce uncertainty and lower costs for some parts of the stack, especially if Chinese manufacturing or assembly is involved in the supply chain. Translation: if political pressure produces a de-escalation, or a deal where China makes concessions and the US trims tariffs. It could reduce the price or complexity of buying or provisioning servers and racks that contain AMD chips, or at least make procurement timelines less risky. That lower price and lower uncertainty can accelerate deployments.